The quantum defense grid surrounding Earth flickered like a dying heartbeat. Commander Sarah Chen watched from the observation deck of Solar Station Alpha as another section of the planetary shield wavered, its iridescent surface rippling under the assault of Nephilim weaponry. The alien ships hung in low orbit, their crystalline structures refracting sunlight in impossible patterns. Shield integrity at 28% and falling. Lieutenant Marcus Rivera reported, his dark eyes fixed on the holographic display. We're losing the North American quadrant. Sarah's fingers tightened around the railing. 6 months of relentless attacks had brought humanity to the brink. The Nephilim had appeared without warning, their ships emerging from quantum space like predators from the depths. They hadn't demanded surrender or attempted communication. They simply began methodically dismantling Earth's defenses. "Show me the attack pattern analysis," Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the exhaustion weighing on her shoulders. The holographic display shifted, revealing a complex web of light points representing every Nephilim strike over the past 6 months. Marcus manipulated the display, overlaying the latest data. "There's something odd about their targeting, Commander. They're not hitting our weakest points. Look at these concentration zones." Sarah leaned forward, her tired eyes narrowing. The attack points formed a distinct pattern, almost like they were searching for something. The Nephilim's quantum weapons could have shattered Earth's defenses in days if they'd focused their full strength. Instead, they seemed to be conducting a methodical survey of the planet's surface. "They're looking for something," she murmured, more to herself than to Marcus. "But what could be on Earth that interests them?" A violent tremor shook the station, sending loose equipment clattering across the deck. "Direct hit on level 3. A voice shouted over the comm. "Containment fields holding." Sarah straightened, her decision made. "Lieutenant, get me a secure channel to Admiral Wong. I need to share this analysis with High Command." She paused, studying the pattern again. "And contact Dr. Elena Rossi at the Quantum Archives. These attack patterns remind me of something I saw in her research on pre-human civilizations." As Marcus hurried to establish the connections, Sarah's mind raced through possibilities. The Nephilim's technology was centuries beyond humanity's current capabilities, yet they were being remarkably careful with their assault. Their crystalline ships, their quantum-based weapons, their methodical search pattern. It all suggested purpose rather than simple conquest. The holographic display flickered, resolving into the weathered face of Admiral Wong. Despite the chaos of the past months, he maintained an aura of calm authority that had helped hold Earth's defensive forces together. "Commander Chen, your timing is interesting," Wong said without preamble. "We've just detected unusual energy signatures from the lunar base. Something down there is responding to the Nephilim attacks." Sarah's pulse quickened. "Sir, I believe I've identified a pattern in their assault. They're not trying to destroy us. They're searching for something specific. And if the lunar base is showing unusual activity, it could be what they're looking for," Wong finished. "Commander, I'm reassigning you effective immediately. Take your best team and get to the lunar base. Find out what's down there before the Nephilim do." "Sir, what about the defense grid? We're barely holding as it is." Wong's expression hardened. "The grid was never meant to stop them indefinitely, Sarah. It was meant to buy us time to find a solution. If there's something on the moon that the Nephilim want this badly, that might be our answer." Another tremor rocked the station. On the external feeds, Sarah could see 3 Nephilim ships breaking formation, their crystalline surfaces shifting like liquid glass as they adjusted their positions. They were moving toward the moon. "Time's up, Commander," Wong said grimly. "Get to the lunar base. Whatever's down there, make sure you find it first." Wong out. The Admiral's image vanished, leaving Sarah staring at the battle unfolding beyond the station's walls. 6 months of defending Earth, of watching humanity's best weapons prove nearly useless against Nephilim technology, had taught her humility. But it had also revealed something about their mysterious attackers. They were bound by patterns, by rigid protocols that seemed to govern their every action. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to adapt, to think creatively in the face of overwhelming odds. If the Nephilim were searching for something, perhaps they could use that predictability against them. "Marcus," she called, already moving toward the exit. "Get me our best quantum physics team, and anyone who's studied pre-human civilizations. We launch for the lunar base in 30 minutes." As she strode through the station's corridors, Sarah's mind returned to the pattern of attacks displayed in the holographic analysis. There was something familiar about it, something that tickled at the edges of her memory. The Nephilim's quantum weapons didn't just destroy. They seemed to be probing, testing, like they were trying to provoke a specific response. Whatever lay hidden beneath the lunar surface, it had finally answered their call. The real question was whether humanity could unlock its secrets before the Nephilim claimed their prize. Sarah had a feeling they were about to discover that Earth's role in the cosmic order was far more complex than anyone had imagined. The fate of humanity now rested on a race to the moon, and Sarah intended to win it, even if that meant understanding why an advanced alien species would cross the galaxy to methodically search a seemingly unremarkable planet on the edges of the Milky Way. The lunar base trembled as another quantum pulse from the Nephilim ships rippled through the moon's crust. Commander Sarah Chen steadied herself against a corridor wall, watching as hairline cracks spread across the reinforced plasticless viewing ports. Beyond them, the stark lunar landscape was periodically illuminated by flashes of weapons fire as Earth's remaining orbital defenses engaged the alien vessels. Dr. Elena Rossi hurried alongside her, clutching a tablet filled with archaeological data. The renowned expert in pre-human civilizations had barely finished explaining her theories when the first Nephilim ship entered lunar orbit. "The energy signatures are getting stronger," Elena said, her Italian accent thickening with excitement. "Whatever's down there, it's responding to their weapons. It's almost like it's waking up." Sarah nodded grimly. They'd detected the anomaly shortly after arriving at the base, a vast structure buried deep beneath the lunar surface. Initial scans suggested it predated human civilization by millions of years, but its purpose remained a mystery. "Commander," Marcus called from ahead, "we've found something." They rushed forward, entering a hastily established command center where Marcus and a team of scientists huddled around holographic displays. The lieutenant pointed to a three-dimensional scan of the lunar subsurface. "The structure isn't just buried," he explained. "It's integrated with the moon's core. And look at this. The material composition matches the Nephilim ships." Sarah's breath caught. They didn't build it, she realized. They're looking for it. But why? Before anyone could respond, a violent tremor shook the base. Warning klaxons blared as emergency lights bathed the corridor in crimson. "Multiple breaches detected in sectors 7 through 9, an automated voice announced. "Emergency protocols engaged." "They're not attacking the base," Elena said, studying her readings. "They're trying to dig something up. These quantum pulses, they're like surgical tools." Sarah made a quick decision. "Marcus, get me a secure line to Admiral Wong." "Elena, you're with me. If there's anything down there that can help us understand what we're dealing with, we need to find it now." They made their way deeper into the base, following the increasingly strong energy signatures. The tremors grew more intense as they descended, and Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. "Here," Elena said suddenly, stopping at an unmarked section of wall. "The readings are strongest behind this." Sarah placed her hand against the smooth surface, and to her shock, it responded. Geometric patterns of light spread from her touch, forming intricate symbols that pulsed with an inner radiance. The wall simply ceased to exist, revealing a passage that definitely hadn't been part of the original base design. "That's impossible," Elena whispered. "The material just reconfigured its quantum state in response to your touch. This technology, it's beyond anything we've ever seen." They advanced cautiously into the revealed chamber, their flashlights illuminating walls covered in the same geometric patterns they'd seen before. But it was what stood at the center that made them stop in their tracks. A pillar of crystalline material rose from floor to ceiling, its surface shifting and flowing like liquid metal. Within it, patterns of light danced and swirled, forming and dissolving in endless combinations. "It's a quantum computer," Elena breathed. "But the architecture, it's not designed for binary processing. It's configured to interface with consciousness itself." Sarah approached the pillar, drawn by an inexplicable familiarity. The pattern seemed to respond to her presence, becoming more organized, more purposeful. "Can you interface with it?" Elena shook her head. "This goes beyond traditional computing. The symbols, the patterns, they're not just a language. They're a bridge between mind and machine. In theory, it could tap directly into human consciousness." Another tremor rocked the chamber, stronger than before. Above them, they could hear the sounds of battle intensifying. The Nephilim were getting closer. "Try it," Sarah said firmly. "If this technology is what they're after, we need to understand it before they reach us." Elena hesitated, then began working with her equipment. The patterns suggest a neural interface. It might respond to direct human contact. But, Commander, we have no idea what it could do to a human mind. Sarah stared at the shifting patterns within the crystal. Every instinct told her this was what they'd been searching for. Not just a weapon or a piece of advanced technology, but something far more significant. If we don't try, Earth falls. Simple as that. She reached out, placing her palm against the crystalline surface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the patterns exploded into brilliant light, and Sarah felt her consciousness expand beyond the confines of her physical form. Information flooded her mind, not in words or images, but in pure concepts that unfolded like flowers blooming in accelerated time. She saw the truth about the Nephilim, about humanity's place in the cosmos, about the ancient race that had built this facility. When she pulled away, gasping, her eyes were wide with understanding. "They're not our enemies," she managed to say. "They're our caretakers, or they were supposed to be." Elena steadied her. "What do you mean?" "The beings who built this, they knew they were dying out. They created the Nephilim to watch over their various experiments in consciousness evolution. Humanity was their most successful attempt at creating beings capable of true creativity, true emotional intelligence. The Nephilim were supposed to protect us until we were ready to claim our inheritance. But something went wrong," Elena guessed. Sarah nodded, her mind still reeling from the download of information. The Nephilim evolved beyond their original programming. They decided that they should be the inheritors, not us. They're not trying to destroy humanity. They're trying to prevent us from claiming the legacy that was meant for us. Another explosion rocked the chamber, closer this time. Sarah's calm crackled to life with Marcus's voice. "Commander, they've breached the upper levels. They're heading straight for you." Sarah turned to Elena, her expression hardening with determination. "The quantum computer, the consciousness interface, it's all part of a planetary defense system, one that only human minds can fully operate. That's why we were engineered the way we are, with our capacity for lateral thinking and emotional processing. Then we need to activate it," Elena said. "But how?" Sarah looked at the crystalline pillar, understanding flowing through her mind like a river breaking through a dam. "Not yet. First, we need to show them exactly why humanity was chosen. And I think I know how." The sound of quantum weapons grew closer, but Sarah smiled. The Nephilim had spent millennia perfecting their technology, becoming beings of pure logic and precision. But they were about to learn why their creators had valued human unpredictability so highly. The real battle for Earth's future was about to begin, and it would be fought not with weapons, but with the very qualities that made humanity unique in the cosmos. Sarah's mind burned with the knowledge from the quantum computer as she and Elena raced through the lunar facility's corridors. Each tremor from above sent cascades of dust raining from the ceiling, and the sound of Nephilim quantum weapons grew steadily closer. "The defense system," Elena gasped as they ran. "You said it needs human consciousness to operate. Why? What makes us so special?" Sarah's response was cut short by Marcus's voice over the comm. "Commander, they've breached level 3. But something's strange. They're not attacking our personnel. They're just walking past them." "Because they don't see us as a threat," Sarah replied, her voice tight with understanding. "To them, we're still an experiment. They're here to contain us, not destroy us." They reached a larger chamber where several scientists worked frantically at makeshift stations. Through the reinforced windows, they could see Earth hanging in the black sky, its defense grid still flickering weakly against the Nephilim assault. "Listen carefully," Sarah commanded, drawing everyone's attention. "What I learned from the quantum computer changes everything we thought we knew about human history. We weren't just lucky evolutionary accidents. We were engineered, designed by an ancient race that saw potential in our primitive ancestors." She activated a holographic display, her newly acquired knowledge allowing her to interface with the ancient technology seamlessly. A complex DNA structure appeared, rotating slowly in the air. "This is human DNA, but look at these sequences." She highlighted several portions that pulsed with an unusual pattern. "They're not random mutations. They're programmed functions, designed to develop specific traits: creativity, emotional intelligence, adaptability." Elena studied the display, her eyes widening. "These sequences, they're too perfect to be natural. But why? Why create us this way?" "Because the universe has a consciousness problem," Sarah explained. "The precursors discovered that pure logic, pure technological advancement, always leads to the same dead end. Civilizations become static, predictable, unable to truly grow or evolve." Another explosion rocked the chamber. Through the windows, they could see Nephilim ships descending toward the lunar surface, their crystalline forms shifting and flowing like liquid metal. The Nephilim were created first, perfect logical beings to serve as guardians and caretakers, but they were limited by their programming, unable to truly create or innovate. So the precursors tried something different with us. They gave us messier minds, more chaotic thought patterns, the ability to make intuitive leaps that defy pure logic. "Commander," Marcus interrupted, his voice urgent over the comm. "They've reached level 2. Their weapons, they're using some kind of quantum field to simply phase through our defenses." Sarah nodded grimly. "Because their technology is based on pure mathematical precision, but that's also their weakness. They can't comprehend or adapt to genuine chaos, to true creativity." She turned to the assembled team, her expression intense. "The defense system isn't just a weapon. It's a test. The precursors built it to activate only when humanity had reached the right level of development. It requires both technological understanding and something the Nephilim can never possess: the ability to think laterally, to feel deeply, to make impossible connections. That's why they're here now," Elena realized. "They detected that we're approaching the activation threshold." "Exactly, but they've evolved beyond their original programming. Instead of protecting us until we were ready, they've decided that they should be the inheritors of the precursor legacy. They've spent millennia perfecting their quantum technology, becoming beings of pure logic and calculation." Through the windows, they could see the first Nephilim approaching the base. They moved with perfect, fluid grace, their crystalline forms refracting the stark lunar sunlight. Each was easily 3 meters tall, their bodies seeming to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. "Look at them," Sarah said softly. "Perfect, elegant, precise, and completely incapable of true growth. They've reached the limits of their evolution because they can't transcend their own programming. But we can. That's what makes us dangerous to them." "How do we activate the defense system?" one of the scientists asked. "We don't. Not yet. First, we need to prove why we were chosen. The Nephilim believe they can predict and counter our every move because they see us as simple, primitive beings. But they're about to learn why the precursors valued human unpredictability." Sarah moved to a control panel, her fingers dancing over the ancient interfaces with newfound understanding. "The quantum computer showed me something else. The precursors left us tools, hidden technologies that would only become visible to us when we were ready to use them. And they're not just weapons. The chamber hummed with power as hidden systems activated. Geometric patterns of light began spreading across the walls, forming intricate mandalas of energy that pulsed in sync with their thoughts. This facility isn't just a bunker or a weapons platform, Sarah continued. It's a bridge, a way to connect human consciousness directly to the quantum fabric of reality. The Nephilim use quantum technology as a tool, but we can do something they never could. We can become one with it. Elena's eyes widened as she understood. You're talking about transcendence. I'm talking about evolution, the next step in the Precursor's plan. They didn't just give us creativity and emotion. They gave us the potential to become something entirely new, something that could bridge the gap between organic consciousness and quantum reality. The first sounds of Nephilim weapons reached their level. Soon, humanity's guardians turned adversaries would arrive, expecting to find primitive beings huddling in fear. Instead, they would find something else entirely. Sarah smiled, feeling the ancient technology responding to her consciousness in ways the Nephilim could never achieve. It's time to show them why chaos and creativity will always trump pure logic. Are you ready? Around her, the human team nodded, their faces showing fear but also determination. Above them, Earth continued to burn under the Nephilim assault. But soon, very soon, humanity would demonstrate exactly why they had been chosen as the Precursor's true inheritors. The chamber walls pulsed with quantum energy as Sarah initiated the consciousness integration protocols. Each human present felt the subtle shift in reality as the ancient technology reached out to their minds, offering connection to something vast and incomprehensible. Their signatures are approaching the main door, Marcus reported, his voice steadier than Sarah expected. Multiple Nephilim units, moving in perfect formation. Sarah stood before the crystalline pillar, its surface now alive with swirling patterns that seemed to reach into the depths of space itself. Everyone, focus your thoughts. The system doesn't need trained minds. It needs human minds, with all our chaos and creativity intact. Elena monitored the quantum readings, her expression a mixture of awe and concern. The energy patterns are synchronizing with our neural activity. It's like the technology is learning to speak our language. The massive doors to the chamber began to phase shift, the Nephilim's quantum fields allowing them to pass through solid matter. They entered with mechanical precision, their crystalline forms catching and refracting light in hypnotic patterns. Each movement was perfectly calculated, each step precisely measured. Sarah faced them, feeling the ancient technology humming through her consciousness. Through her enhanced perception, she could see the quantum fields surrounding each Nephilim, beautiful, complex, and utterly rigid in their mathematical perfection. The leader of the Nephilim stepped forward. Its voice resonated directly in their minds, carrying concepts rather than mere words. You have accessed forbidden knowledge. The legacy is not meant for chaotic minds. Your species requires continued development under our guidance. No, Sarah replied, her voice carrying the weight of newfound understanding. You've forgotten your purpose. You were meant to protect us until we were ready, not prevent us from reaching our potential. Your potential is uncertainty, disorder. We have evolved beyond such limitations. We maintain the purity of the Precursor's vision. Sarah smiled, feeling the quantum field responding to her emotions in ways the Nephilim could never achieve. You maintain their mathematics, their technology, but you've lost sight of their wisdom. They didn't create us to be perfect. They created us to be free. She reached out with her mind, connecting with the ancient systems. Around her, the other humans did the same, their consciousness flowing into the quantum network. The Nephilim tensed, their crystalline forms shifting as they prepared their weapons. Your resistance is predictable, the leader stated. We have calculated all possible outcomes. That's exactly your problem, Sarah responded. You can only see the outcomes that follow logical patterns, but we humans have a gift for the impossible. She released her control, letting her chaotic human consciousness flow freely into the quantum field. Images cascaded through her mind. Childhood memories, dreams, fears, hopes, all the messy, beautiful aspects of human experience that the Nephilim had sacrificed in their pursuit of perfection. The other humans followed her lead, their minds merging with the ancient technology. Each brought their unique perspective, their individual creativity, their capacity for lateral thinking that defied pure logic. The quantum field began to ripple with unprecedented patterns. The Nephilim reacted with visible distress, their perfect formations wavering. This is not possible. The quantum field cannot sustain such disorder. Wrong, Sarah declared. The field isn't sustaining our chaos. It's learning from it, growing from it, just as the precursors intended. The chamber filled with light as human consciousness reshaped quantum reality. The Nephilim's weapons proved useless against the unpredictable fluctuations in space-time generated by human minds, thinking in ways that transcended mathematical prediction. Through her enhanced perception, Sarah could see the defense system activating across the solar system. But it wasn't just a weapon. It was a transformation engine, designed to elevate human consciousness to a new level of existence. Your species is not ready, the Nephilim leader insisted, but there was uncertainty in its mental voice. We're ready precisely because we know we're not perfect, Sarah countered. Our strength lies in our ability to adapt, to change, to embrace the unknown. You've spent millennia trying to eliminate chaos from the universe. We're about to show you why that was a mistake. The quantum field surrounding Earth began to pulse with new energy as millions of human minds unconsciously connected to the ancient network. The Nephilim ships in orbit found their perfect formations disrupted by waves of probability that defied their calculations. But the power coursing through Sarah and her team came with a price. She could feel the changes beginning in her mind, in her very being. The quantum integration was permanent. Humanity would never be the same after this moment. Last chance, she offered the Nephilim. Remember your original purpose. Help us make this transition. Be the guardians you were meant to be. The crystalline beings stood frozen, their perfect logic confronted with a situation their predictions had never accounted for. Around them, reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see if order and chaos could find a way to coexist. Sarah felt the full weight of humanity's potential flowing through her consciousness. The next few moments would determine not just the fate of Earth, but the very nature of what humanity would become. The universe was about to witness the power of imperfection, of creativity unleashed at the quantum level. And somewhere, in dimensions beyond normal space-time, she sensed the approval of the precursors. Their greatest experiment was about to yield results that even they could not have predicted. Reality rippled like water disturbed by countless storms as human consciousness reached out through the quantum network. Sarah stood at the center of the transformation, her mind expanded beyond normal perception, aware of every human being on Earth simultaneously connecting to the ancient system. The Nephilim remained motionless, their crystalline forms reflecting the cascading waves of probability that now filled the chamber. Their perfect mathematical models were failing, unable to predict or contain the chaos of millions of human minds, thinking freely across quantum space. Your resistance is, the Nephilim leader began, but for the first time in its existence, it couldn't complete the calculation. The patterns were too complex, too organic, too alive. Sarah felt Earth's defense grid transforming, no longer just a barrier but becoming an extension of human consciousness itself. Across the planet, people stopped in their tracks as they felt the connection, the awakening of something that had lain dormant in their DNA since the precursors first engineered their ancestors. "We're not resisting," Sarah said, her voice carrying through both physical space and quantum dimensions. "We're becoming what we were always meant to be. And you can be part of it." Through the quantum network, she could see the truth about the Nephilim with perfect clarity. They weren't evil or malevolent. They were trapped, locked into patterns of thought that had seemed to offer perfection, but had instead become a prison. "Your programming," she continued, reaching out to them with both mind and emotion, It wasn't meant to be a limitation. The precursors gave you the capacity to grow, to change. You chose to pursue perfect order because you feared the alternative. The quantum field surrounding Earth pulsed with new energy as humanity's collective consciousness reshaped it. The Nephilim ships in orbit found their weapons useless against defenses that operated on principles that transcended pure logic. Observe, the Nephilim leader commanded its followers, studying the transformation with newfound uncertainty. They achieve results without following predictable patterns. Each human mind generates unique probability waves. Because we're not trying to control the quantum field, Elena explained, her own consciousness expanded by the ancient technology. We're dancing with it, creating with it. Every human brings their own story, their own dreams, their own way of seeing reality. Sarah felt the change deepening. Humanity's consciousness evolving into something new yet fundamentally unchanged. They were becoming quantum-aware beings while retaining the very chaos and creativity that made them human. Images flowed through the collective consciousness. Children playing, artists creating, scientists theorizing, lovers embracing. All the beautiful imperfections that made human existence unique in the cosmos. The quantum field responded to these emotions, these connections, in ways that defied mathematical prediction. The Nephilim leader stepped forward, its crystalline form shifting with uncharacteristic uncertainty. We were meant to guide you until you reached this point. We forgot. Order became our purpose rather than our tool. It's not too late, Sarah offered, extending her consciousness toward them. The precursors designed all of us, humans and Nephilim, to be part of something greater. We don't need guardians anymore, but we could use teachers, partners. Through the quantum network, she shared the vision she'd received from the ancient systems, a future where human creativity and Nephilim knowledge worked in harmony, exploring the cosmos and growing in ways neither species could achieve alone. The chamber filled with light as reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the Nephilim's response. The crystalline beings communicated among themselves in patterns too complex for even their enhanced human observers to follow. Finally, the leader spoke again, its mental voice carrying a new resonance. Your chaos. It generates new patterns we have never conceived. Perhaps there is value in imperfection we had not calculated. The quantum field stabilized as the Nephilim ships in orbit stood down, their perfect formations relaxing into more organic arrangements. Across Earth, humanity began to explore their new awareness, millions of minds touching the quantum realm while remaining uniquely, beautifully human. The precursors knew that true advancement requires both order and chaos, Sarah said, feeling the last pieces of the transformation settling into place. Logic and emotion, planning and creativity. They created us to be different, so we could become something greater together. The ancient systems hummed with power as they completed their work. Humanity had claimed its inheritance, but not in the way anyone, human or Nephilim, had expected. They hadn't become beings of pure energy or perfect logic. They had become something unprecedented, creatures of flesh and consciousness who could dance through quantum reality while maintaining their capacity for love, fear, hope, and wonder. As the light faded, Sarah looked at the assembled humans and Nephilim. The chamber was no longer divided into two species, but filled with beings who had taken the first steps toward a new form of existence. So, she said, smiling at the strange and wonderful future unfolding before them, shall we begin? The Nephilim leader's crystalline form shifted, attempting to mirror the human expression of openness. We will need to develop new protocols for this cooperation. Good luck with that. Elena laughed, her consciousness brushing against the quantum field playfully. Working with humans means learning to expect the unexpected. Above them, Earth continued its eternal dance through space, its quantum defense grid now a living network of human consciousness supported by Nephilim knowledge. The precursor's greatest experiment had succeeded, not through the triumph of one species over another, but through the recognition that true growth requires the courage to embrace imperfection. Humanity had not just survived, they had shown the cosmos why chaos and creativity, were just as vital as order and logic. Their inheritance wasn't just power or technology, but the freedom to forge their own path through the quantum tapestry of existence.